From the field to the film room to the war room, we've got you covered every step of the way as the road to the draft starts right now on BGN Radio. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special episode of the BGN Draft Show. Today, we are conducting dueling mock drafts. Mark, Deibs, and I are each going to put together a 4-round Eagles mock draft. We're going to be using Pro Football Network's mock draft simulator. And then we're going to throw it to you guys on Twitter to vote for who is the best mock drafter, who should be the honorable Howie Roseman, who should be named Howie Roseman for our draft show this season. So we've got a few house rules here that we're going to use. If you guys do mock drafts, you know, you can sort of game the system with trade values and things like that. So we're using Pro Football Network because Pro Football Network offers you trades. And so we're not allowed to negotiate trades. You can just accept what's offered or you can stick and pick. And we're going to put a 2-trade maximum per person. So we're going to do a 4-round Eagles mock draft. The Eagles don't have a 4th-round pick, but we may acquire some in trades. So we're going to kick it off here. We're going to go Deibs up first. We're going to do a round at a time. So Deibs will do his entire first round, and then we'll kick it to Mark and to me and so on. And we'll work our way through 4 rounds. We'll try to keep it all straight, and then we'll recap it for you guys at the end. So Deibs, I'm going to throw you up on the screen here first. 4-round mock draft. Go ahead and click your button there, and we'll see what you get at pick 10.
All right. I've probably done 10,000 of these, but every single time I get nervous about who's available and who's not. And here we go. Sitting at pick number 10, the New York Giants are offering pick 25 for pick 10. Let's see what else. Pick 19 from the Tampa Bay Bucks and a 2024 first rounder. That is interesting. The Saints are offering 29. I know Shane loves this one. That's pretty interesting. I like this trade a lot. I'm going to accept this trade from the Tampa Bay Bucks, and I think this is very much a Howie Roseman type of deal that we could see. So I'm going to accept this offer and trade back just a little bit.
All right, so pick 10 goes to Tampa Bay for pick 19 and a 2024 first, which could be a very high pick. So you're up here now at 19. You've used one of your 2 trades.
All right, so I'm sitting here at 19. Quickly, the Bengals are offering pick 28. The Cowboys pick 26, and the Saints still want to do that. I am going to reject. All right, I did it right there. Clark Phillips, the third, 18 to the Detroit Lions. That is pretty interesting. But here we go. I am sitting at 19 for the Eagles. You look at, their biggest needs right now. I think there's a guy that we can target at 30 for defensive line, but I am going to focus on the secondary here at pick 19. And I'm going to look at a guy that I have as safety number 1 in this draft, and that is Brian Branch out of Alabama. Just checks off all the boxes for what the Eagles want. Can play in the slot, can play coverage, can blitz the quarterback, can do it all. So here we go again, pick number 30. We also acquired a 2024 first, which I'm really excited about. The Raiders are offering a trade here, pick 38. I'm looking at who is available. All right. And then we have another offer from the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to reject both of those. So I'm on the clock here at pick number 30. I'm going to stay put, and I'm going to go. We're going to go Kalijah Cansey, pick number 30 for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles need to address. Did not make that selection. Kalijah Cansey there for the Eagles. The Eagles need to get a stronger rotation on the interior, even though Fletcher Cox comes back on a 1-year deal. Javon Hargrave is gone. I think I just hit 2 big needs for the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, so Brian Branch, Tampa Bay's first-round pick next year, and Kalijah Cansey is what Deibs nets in the first round. We're going to throw it to Mark now for his first round. Mark, you are up at number 10. You've got a few trade offers here. Washington is willing to give you pick 16 and their first next year for pick 10. New England is willing to give you pick 14 and their first for pick 10, or Minnesota will give you 23 and their first and second next year for pick 10, or you can stick and pick.
So what were the two? I don't want to drop back as far to go to 23. That's interesting. Both of those are really good trades. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to save my two trades because I see a player there that I really like. And I came in saying I probably would move back. And I think if it was on PFF, I might move back, or maybe I'd take a different edge rusher here. I'm going to reject the trades and stick and pick. And I'm going to go with Tyree Wilson. Tyree Wilson is a guy who we all have as our edge number 3 on our big boards. And I think that, you plug him in. He's a guy you can move around. He's a guy who wouldn't necessarily be expected to play all of that much right away on the Eagles. You could definitely rotate him in. So what are our trade offers here at 30? We've got
San Fran will give you pick 99 and a first and 7th next year for 30.
I don't necessarily want to be betting on the Niners to be bad.
Or the Chargers will give you 54 and a second next year for 30 and 248.
No, those offers aren't good enough. So let's stick with the pick here. I probably should have moved back from 10, but I got infatuated with the idea of Murphy there. So I'm taking a look down on my big board here, and it looks like it's definitely been picked over a little bit. So it's gonna be a tough decision to make here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna look towards the offensive line, and I'm gonna make a pick that it's not very sexy. People won't be all that excited about it. But I'm gonna take DeWand Jones, the 33rd ranked player here on PFN. The guy is an absolute mountain of a man. He is absolutely huge. The Eagles tend to gravitate towards guys like that. They like what's the theory? I forget whose it is. It's someone's theory. The off the bus theory. The Eagles like to be the team that looks the scariest off the bus. And you got Jordan Davis walking off the bus. You got Jordan Mailata walking off the bus. Somehow Lane Johnson's like, maybe not top 3 on like scariest dudes walking off the bus. You threw if you threw DeWand Jones into that mix and put him into the Jeff Stoutland University, studying under teacher assistants Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson. I think that there's a lot of upside to tap into there with DeWand Jones.
All right, so that puts me up in the first round here. Let me share my screen now. So I'm at pick 10. Miles Murphy off the board, 1 pick ahead of me to Chicago. Would have been a sprint to the podium situation. Jalen Carter is still on the board here. And that's a tough call. There's so many things going on with Jalen Carter right now that not entirely sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure how I feel about him actually dropping, if that will happen, or what I would think. I think the Eagles would take Carter if he's there. They love to build through the trenches. Carter is a guy the Eagles they're not necessarily afraid to bring in people that there's maybe some character concerns with because they have such a strong locker room and such a strong coaching staff. I'm going to click through my trade offers here, though. I've got an offer of 17 and 32 from the Steelers. That's nice. That's a nice offer. The Ravens offer is not very good. The Rams offering 36, 69, and a first and third next year. And I think the Rams are going to be quite awful next year. So that could be really intriguing. That Rams pick could be top 5. Or you've got the Packers offering 15 and 45. And this is a tough one. When I saw Carter's name, I was like, I'm taking that. But man, those Rams picks, those could be really good.
We're in a Super Bowl window, Shane.
I like that Packers trade, man. That's a good one.
Yeah, 15 and 45. Man, this is some nice trades. I'm not gonna do it though. I'm gonna stick and I'm gonna pick Jalen Carter if it'll let me reject these offers.
Is there anything making you? Is Jalen Carter versus Tyree Wilson even a question for you, or no?
No.
Okay.
I mean, me evaluating the talent on the field, no. If I'm sitting in a room talking to Jalen Carter, maybe. But I can't really judge medical red flags, character red flags, because I don't have access to that stuff. But I know that he's so good on the interior. Yeah, there's the red flags, but Jalen Carter, he's a blue chip talent. He's one of 2 blue chip guys for me in this draft. So I'm going to take Carter at 10, and we'll hope that the board falls my way. I get a nice trade here. Atlanta at 30 offers me 44 and a 2-3 for now. I don't need more picks next year. I need picks this year. And Chicago offers me picks next year. So I guess I'm probably going to stick and pick here as well at 30. Darnell Washington is on the board, which is a guy that I absolutely love and would be really tempted to take. Osiris Torrance went at 28. He was there at 30 in Mark's draft, and I really wanted him. I thought that would have been a good selection for the Eagles.
It would have been Jones Smith. Or Torrance.
Do what?
It would have been Jones or Torrance. Those were my next 2 highest ranked guys.
Yeah. I really liked Torrance, but unfortunately he goes at 28 here. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to take Darnell Washington. We haven't really profiled tight ends yet, but Darnell Washington is probably going to be tight end 1 for me. He's such a plus in the run game. I honestly think if tight end doesn't work out for Darnell Washington, he could make the switch to offensive tackle. Like, he's such a good blocker, and he's so athletic. Didn't have a lot of college production because he wasn't used a lot, but I legit think he's one of the highest upside guys in this draft. So I'm going to take Darnell Washington at tight end, and that'll close out my first round. And so we'll throw it back here to Deibs in the second round.
All right. So I have a question because I can't see the big board and I can't scroll up without doing anything on this trade. Is there any way I could not or just, like, put away this trade and look at what's available and then come back to the trade?
When you do it on mobile, there's a hide button. I don't know why it's not showing up, but it's the Raiders offering 70 and 174 for pick 62. So go ahead and reject it, Deibs, and we'll let you offer that trade if you want it.
Oh, I can move up. Nice. All right. So we are sitting here. Pick number 62. This one's going to be pretty much a no-brainer. Oh, there's a lot of guys here that I like a lot. Just skimming this real quickly. I already got Brian Branch and Kalijah Kancey. I'm going to go also offensive tackle, and a guy that I've talked about a ton, and that's Blake Freeland, offensive tackle out of BYU at pick 62. Let me just make that selection. Arguably the most ridiculous measurables in this draft. He's extremely athletic, and putting that guy to develop under Lane Johnson next to Stoutland, it has very good odds, very good likelihood of him becoming a big time right tackle for the next 10 years. So Blake Freeland for me.
All right. So now we will kick it over to Mark for his second round. And Mark, you're up at 62. You got a couple of trade offers here. Tampa Bay is offering you 82 and their third next for 62 and 248. Or the Chiefs are offering you 63 and a sixth next year. So move back one spot and pick up a sixth rounder.
Let's go, Andy. I'll move. You can take who you want. I know you'd be a but I'll move back a pick. Why not?
All right. You gave him your guy, Derek Hall, edge rusher out of Auburn. So you are up again. You still have a trade if you want it, or you can stick here and pick at 63.
That's interesting. I'm not going to take it. What's the other one?
The other trade is the Vikings given 87, 119, and Detroit's fourth for 63 and 248.
They're actually pretty good offers, but I'll stay away from them here because I see a couple players that I really, really like. And this becomes a tough decision here between two players. And, you could make the argument that I can try to game the system, and it's not going to work because I can't trade up and move around for picks. But the two looking at here is Zach Charbonnet and Antonio Johnson. I'm going to choose to value safety higher than running back here. And I think that I have Johnson just a tick higher than Charbonnet in general anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and take Antonio Johnson. You guys heard on our safety podcast how high I was, or on our D-backs podcast, I should say, how high I was on Antonio Johnson. I had him relatively high in terms of not just safeties, but D-backs. He's my number 2 safety. He's my number 6 D-back. Really, really solid in 2021 and 2022 for the Aggies. 2-year starter, 3-year contributor. I think he's got a lot of similarities to Jesse Bates. I think he's really versatile. So he would be the type of guy that I think could step in and play day one for the Eagles, Antonio Johnson. And I don't even know if there'd be necessarily that much of a drop off from last year.
All right. So that puts me up in the second round. I do have a trade offer. The Los Angeles Rams are determined to give me their picks for next year.
That's a good offer.
They offered me to move from 62. I would move back from 62 to 69. They would give me a third rounder next year, and I give up pick 248 this year, which I'm probably going to do, but I'm going to reject that for a second so I can look at the big board since I don't have a hide button. No, I do not want to restart my sim.
Oh, no.
Okay, that was almost really bad. So
that was almost a tragedy.
Yeah, it like delayed when I clicked. So, yeah, I mean, there's guys I like on this board, but nobody I like enough to turn down that third round pick next year. I know I said that I don't necessarily need picks next year. The Eagles are going to be loaded up with comp picks, but in reality, they can trade these picks and move back around. And I think they would certainly jump on the Rams' third round pick to move back 7 spots, especially as bad as the Rams are probably going to be next year. So it would be funny if they rejected the trade they offered me, but they accepted it. So that's a really boring second round for me, but that's my second round. So Dives, will throw it back to you for the third round here. Okay. Nice. Mine's not moving because I didn't click resume, but we'll throw it to you for the third round. Dives, you are up now. If it will share your screen.
All right.
Can you guys see his screen? Because I can't see it.
I can see it on my end.
Okay. My computer's just being really slow, so.
I can't see it.
You can't?
But I couldn't last time either. That Dives was up.
Okay. Well,
hold on. Let me
Dives, you just talk us through it. Okay.
No, I'm gonna reshare it. Maybe that'll work.
Okay.
All right. Try that now.
There it is. Okay, I see it now.
All right, cool. Sometimes that happens, but I got a trade offer from Jacksonville, 94 for 121 and a third next year. I kind of like that trade. And then Washington, pick 97 and a 7th for next year. Not so much like that trade. I'm going to look at who was taken. I'm just going to skim this real quick. I do have a target in mind. I don't know if he was drafted or not. There's Keon White at number 57. Sorry, just give me a second while I skim here. All right, so let's go back down to pick 94. We're going to go defense. Looking at the board, Jack Campbell, Jordan Battle. I know Mark likes him a lot. Chris Smith is a guy that I like a lot. We already took a safety here in the first round. The guy I am circling here is a guy that has won the draft process over and over and over again. Deion Henley, a linebacker out of Washington State, thrives in coverage, extremely good athlete, and his athleticism is off the charts. So I'm going to go Deion Henley, a linebacker, here at pick number 94.
All right. And that's all you've got in the third round. Did you end up with a 4th round pick, or are you done now?
Nope,
you're done. Okay, so done. Don't get rid of that screen there. Okay, so Mark, you are up here at 94. You got a couple trade offers. The Bills are offering you 130 and a third next year for 94 and 248. Or the Browns are offering you they want you to move back 4 spots and they'll give you pick 229.
I'll take that. Why not?
Okay, so moves back 4 spots, and now you're up.
Wasn't considering any of those players, so that worked out.
All right.
Let's take a look here. So some of the players I was looking at are off the board. Can I take a look at center? Is center Joe Tipman's gone, so knock him off. So it comes down, if we go back to all, it comes down to 2 skill position guys, and it's kind of an upside swing either way for the Eagles here. I either go with Devin Achane, running back, who kind of makes up for the fact that I didn't take Charbonnet earlier. I don't know if Achane's necessarily the best fit for the Eagles and the best fit for what they want to do, but at this point, there might be an argument that he's just the most talented player on the board, and you just get him in and you figure it out later. But I think I'm going to do something interesting, and I'm going to go with the guy that I've fallen in love with in this process. And I'm taking the 6'7" freak out of Old Dominion, tight end. I guess he's the guy. Maybe he made what's his name switch positions from Old Dominion. Keon White. He was at Old Dominion. He was a tight end. He became an edge rusher. Maybe he saw Zach Kuntz coming in. So give me Zach Kuntz. They can develop him a little bit behind Goddard. He's obviously so big, so he can be a blocking guy. And I think you could turn him into a dangerous weapon in the red zone in general. So Zach Kuntz would be definitely a fun luxury pick there in the 3rd round.
All right.
Love it.
So I am up now at 69, top of the 3rd round. I've got 2 trade offers. The Chiefs offered me 95 and a third next year. Not really interested in moving back that far for, let's be honest, probably like the 32nd pick in the 3rd round. And my other trade offer is the Colts offering me 79 and 138. So move back 10 spots and basically move up 80 spots on day 3. Maybe I'm going to look at the board first. Andre Carter is there. Interesting project player. Ooh, okay. Sidney Brown, Julius Brents. 2 guys that I really like. Sidney Brown, safety, move piece, kind of hybrid guy. Julius Brents is a cornerback that I've fallen in love with that I think could probably play safety. He's a physical freak. They're like opposite ends of the spectrum. Brown is 5'10", Julius Brents is 6'3". Both tested crazy at the combine, great RAS scores. This one's tough for me, but safety is a bigger need, and Sidney Brown has played safety. So I'm going to go with Sidney Brown. I think he's got a lot of versatility. He played a lot of snaps in the box. He played some snaps deep, some in the slot. He's Chauncey Gardner-esque, I would say, although maybe a little more of a box player than Chauncey Gardner. So I'll take Sidney Brown, safety out of Illinois, at 69. And then I come up to 94. Got a couple of trade offers here. Is pick 113 still in the 4th round?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be an early 4th, I think, kind of.
Yeah. I think this isn't going to help me in terms of people voting for my mock draft because it's a 3rd round pick versus a 4th round pick. But I think the Eagles would really value turning that 6th round pick next year into a 4th and picking up an additional day 3 pick. So I'm going to do this trade, even though it might negatively impact my mock here, but I'll trade pick 94 and a 6th next year for 113, 159 and a 4th next year. I think that's good value. So we'll do that, and we'll bump back into the 4th round and see what's on the board here. So at 113, your guy Zach Kuntz is there. Kendre Miller.
Wow.
Wait, I'm still scrolling up. Sam Laporta. I already took a tight end. I'm kind of tight ended out here, but
I didn't realize Will McDonald was ranked so low on this.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Mel Kiper has him going like 7.
Tajay Spears is there, who's a running back that I really like. Yeah, I mean, it can't be anybody other than Will McDonald at that low.
You won't take Roshan Johnson.
No, I'm going to take Will McDonald. So I'll take pass rushing specialist Will McDonald. You guys just heard us talk about him earlier this week. So that's going to be my final selection here. So let's recap these drafts. Deibs traded back from 10 to 19 and acquired Tampa Bay's 1st round pick next year, a pick that might be very high, I might add. And he got Brian Branch at 19, the safety out of Alabama, defensive tackle Kalijah Cansey from Pittsburgh at 30, Offensive tackle Blake Freeland from BYU at 62. Linebacker, how do you say his first name?
Dayon
Henley, linebacker from Washington State at 94 and a first-round pick. Dives, quick reaction to your overall draft there.
Absolutely love this draft. This is a home run draft for me. Brian Branch, plug and play. Don't need to talk about him. Whether how he rolls the dice on a safety in the first round, that's a different thing. But I'm playing for votes. Kalijah Cansey adds that pass rush. Really nice fit on the interior, right next to Jordan Davis. Blake Freeland is an athletic freak right there next to Dayon Henley. If you don't know who Dayon Henley is, go look him up. Off-ball linebacker, extremely good athlete, thrives in coverage. His ability to blitz the quarterback is incredible. Amazing burst and explosiveness. I love Dayon Henley, and the fact that I got him here and at 94 is crazy. And we also picked up a first for next year, which just takes it to the next level. So this is an A for me.
It's always fun to root against a team next year. Unfortunately, it's a team from the NFC South, the worst division in football, but you can't knock having an extra first-round pick. So, all right, let's throw it over here to Mark's draft now. Mark took edge rusher Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech at 10, offensive tackle DeJuan Jones from Ohio State at 30. He traded back one spot from 62 to 63, picked up a future sixth-round pick, and selected safety Antonio Johnson from Texas A&M, and then took tight end Zach Kuntz from Old Dominion at 98. Mark, quick reactions to your draft.
I love the Tyree Wilson and Antonio Johnson picks. If they get Tyree Wilson at 10, Antonio Johnson at 63, or 62, whatever, I'm going to go nuts. That would be incredible. I think those are two guys who can contribute right away to a Super Bowl window. At 30 and 98, I went best player available for me, a little bit more than filling a need where it does feel like DeJuan Jones and Zach Kuntz you're almost taking as like understudies a little bit to be a little bit of growing into their positions, and you're taking high upside guys. And like I said, both of those picks fall under the off the bus theory of you want to look like you're going to kill the other team off the bus. And DeJuan Jones and Zach Kuntz are both 6'7", I think. So if it's a basketball game, the Eagles are going to win it. So I like those two picks, but you'd make an argument that you'd want to fill running back and linebacker more than you would offensive tackle and tight end. You know, you could still get a Tyjae Spears, a Tank Bigsby, a Kendry Miller, one of those types of guys, Roshan Johnson, like Dives mentioned. You could get one of those guys maybe in the 4th or the 5th round and add that to this draft, and I feel a little better about it. Same with maybe a Dayon Henley, like Dives drafted a Dorian Williams and Noah Sewell, one of those types of linebackers that you can find late day 2, early day 3. But in terms of the talent of these four guys, I love this draft, especially Wilson and Johnson, who I think could play right away.
I'm very intrigued how people vote for Zach Kuntz, who I love. He's been one of my sleepers for a while now. I think that's going to be kind of the make or break with this team is how familiar Eagles fans are with Zach Kuntz, who's a big time sleeper at tight end.
You know why I'm familiar with Zach Kuntz?
Why?
10.0 relative athletic score, baby.
Yeah, he comes up first. You see him every time you film.
When somebody has a 10.0 relative athletic score, I put on their film. So, okay, and that brings us to my mock draft where I picked Jalen Carter, defensive tackle out of Georgia at number 10. Tight end Darnell Washington out of Georgia at number 30 because I only want Georgia players on my football team. I mean, who wouldn't love Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter playing next to Georgia defensive tackle Jordan Davis with Georgia linebacker Nakobe Dean behind it? We might as well change. We are the Philadelphia Bulldogs now. So that's my first round. Sidney Brown, safety out of Illinois at 69. Will McDonald, edge rusher out of Iowa State at 113. I also picked up the Rams 3rd round pick next year, the Falcons 4th round pick next year, and a day 3 pick from the Falcons. Looking at this draft, I love the Jalen Carter pick as long as, you know, he works out with the off-field things are the concern. There's no concerns on the field for Carter. He's phenomenal, and it's a need for the Eagles. They can stop signing Fletcher Cox to 1-year, $10 million deals. And Tight end might feel like a luxury at 30, but the Eagles need another option. Like Dallas Goedert missed 5 games last season, and in the 5 games he was out, tight ends averaged 2.2 receptions for 23 yards per game. And the Eagles love to get multiple tight ends on the field, and Washington's just so huge in that. He would help out with their pass protection issues against the blitz. He takes some stress off of wide receiver 3, where the Eagles have big holes right now. So I liked that pick. Sidney Brown, safety out of Illinois. It's a tough call for me between him and Julius Brents, but I think he fits exactly what the Eagles need a little better. And then Will McDonald, just a value pick, but you can never have too many edge rushers. That's the way the Eagles like to build. My biggest regret is that Osiris Torrance went off the board at 28, because I would have sprinted to the podium for that at 30.
Chef's kiss, Shane. This is a terrific draft.
All right, so there it is. You guys have our thoughts on our drafts. After you watch this episode, go over to Twitter. There's going to be a poll up from BGN Radio. You guys can vote for who you think had the best Eagles mock draft. Which one of us do you want in the room making the decisions on draft night? Let us know, and then don't vote for Deibs, because he stacks the votes and usually wins these things. So vote for Mark or I. Chalk Talk hosts got to stick together here, and one of us will be awarded honorary Howie Roseman. Maybe we can change our little name placard under our name to Howie Roseman for the next draft show. So thank you guys for joining in on this. Go vote, as long as it's for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this. As we get closer to the draft, maybe we'll branch out and do an Eagles 7-round mock. If you guys have ideas of some things you'd like to see, hit us up. But between now and then, give us a 5-star rating and review. Smash that subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode. Until next time, go Birds.